This episode of Jump Off Point is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the Boss Rush family of podcasts, head to bossrush.net or our Patreon at patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for helping us build something better.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Jump Off Point, the new podcast here at Boss Rush Media. I am your host, the enlightened and excited Eddie V. Joining me is the wise Wisconsinite, who's also going to be my co-host, Jesse Douglas. Hello, good sir.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm just like kind of, I know it's a, weather thing, but I'm just so glad. I'm just glad that it's starting to get warmer, and I'm just can't wait for it to be nice out. I don't know about you.
Yes, we're waiting for spring to be official, for the weather to get warm, for it to just rain and no more snow, and hopefully for traffic to be better in a sense. But before we continue on, everybody, I want to explain what what the podcast is about. Jump Off Point is our conversation show where we touch on trends and discuss a topic from our writing team by choosing the Boss Rush Banter. With that, everyone, let's get it jumping. But before that, Jesse, what's jumping in your neck of the woods? Like, what you been playing? What you been watching?
Well, as far as playing stuff, I haven't done a whole lot of playing lately. Like I do, I jump on Fortnite or something occasionally with my kids, but I don't know. I've just been on a watching kick lately more than a playing. I finished, and I was really sad to finish the Last of Us TV show, on HBO. Yeah, I was bummed that that's done for now, because that show is really, really good. Like, it almost makes me want to go and play the game, but I'll be honest. Like, I don't know if I would get as much out of the game as I did the TV show. Like, sometimes, like, I don't know about you, but like with movies or TV shows and stuff like that, sometimes there's certain just stories that are better to absorb, I guess you could say, like kind of in a lazy way versus like having to go through like playing a game to get that story. And I don't know if I would enjoy the story as much through the video game, just because like on a TV show, it's like everything, scene for scene is happening the way it's supposed to. And sometimes it's just nice to not be controlling the characters.
Well, so I think the thing about it is that you have to kind of, when you're watching an adaptation of something, it depends on how familiar you are with it. Because the thing that's in the TV show, you won't actually know because it's not in the game and everything. Yeah. So to get a fuller context or richer experience, it's better to play the game. Because the thing about with The Last of Us is that a lot of viewers who watched it didn't know that it was based on the video game. Like, they don't know that it's on Sony, that it's a Sony first party game. So what you would think is that because of all the people who are watching this TV series, that they will go out and get a PlayStation, or if it's on PC, play it on PC. Depending on what generation PlayStation they get, they will literally understand the more of The Last of Us, because the thing about it is that this is supposed to be based off the first game in some parts, but there's some stuff that's in the TV show that's not in the game. So people want to get like the full story and some of the little Easter eggs and everything. It's better for them to like get a PlayStation 4 or get a PlayStation 5 and play The Last of Us 1. And if you enjoy that experience, go ahead and play The Last of Us Part 2. Because they both tell different stories. And by the time you get to season 2, it may be something completely different.
Yeah, because season 2, I think, is supposed to take place of the second game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what they had talked about. But yeah, like, so I finished that. I started watching this show called We're Here.
Uh-huh.
And it's about these 3 drag queens that go around to different towns and they basically put on drag shows. And what makes it interesting is a lot of these places that they're going usually because either someone who's transgender or bisexual or or just is into the whole drag thing. Like they're in a place where they have a hard time being themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not as accepted and maybe in their areas and stuff like that.
Yes.
And so basically it's like a cry for help essentially, and then they come, these 3 drag queens come, and then they put on show, and they
is it like Shangela, Eureka, and I think Bob the Drag Queen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And so I've been watching that, and it's really cool. It's like, like you get to see. Oh, well, I mean, it's a fun show, but at the same time, it's very like it's hard at sometimes because like you feel bad for some of these people that can't be themselves, or like, or just like in one of the episodes, the mother of a girl who was came out as a lesbian had basically been bullied and stuff and ended up committing suicide, and so her mom had the show put on in memory of her, and and like wanted, like, it's really cool, like they had found out like that through this girl's funeral that like she had been doing all these amazing, like, just selfless things for people in the community. Whenever someone needed help, she would do stuff for them just out of the kindness of her heart. And they said like 500 people showed up at her funeral because like she had been doing all this stuff, and it wasn't about getting accolades or being like, hey, look at what I'm doing. And literally she wouldn't tell anyone that she was doing any of this stuff. Her parents didn't know that she was just going around helping people with things, and they were just like super shocked that, like, why are all these, like, where are all these people coming from? And then, they kind of got a interesting, at her funeral, then talking to these people and learning why they're there and all this stuff. And her mom finding out, how amazing of a person her daughter really was, and stuff like that.
It's amazing that people who are kind of like homophobic or against trans and the LGBT QIA plus community, how they feel against somebody because of their sexual preference. They never see them for their humanity or the things that they do and everything. And it's kind of amazing to see that if you see what goes in somebody's life outside of just seeing them as their sexual preference, you will see some amazing things come out for some people. You will see some of their kindness, the humility, how they just go out and help the community and stuff and try to make other people's lives better. And, like a lot of people sometimes don't realize that trying to bully somebody because of their sexual preference is a very harmful thing, because it's affecting their mental state, which will affect
Mhm.
their health. And once that get affected and they get to a point where the only way they could escape this harmful rhetoric is by offing themselves, killing themselves. And and a lot of people just do not think about the other that person's family and friends who do love and accept that person for who they are.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like everyone, it doesn't matter what, what gender, what race, what, like sexual preference, everyone, like everyone's just a person. And like, like, yeah, people, there's people that are nice and there's people that aren't nice. And that's about it. That's about the only difference is you can choose to be a positive and be a good, someone who puts good into the world, or you can choose to be someone who puts bad into the world. Outside of that, like what really does it matter? Like, sexual preference and all that stuff. Like, like there's a sticker thing that I don't remember the exact thing that it said, but it's like, like when people are asking for equality, they're not taking away your rights. They're just asking that those people be treated just as equally as you are. No one's taking away anyone's rights. No one's, like trying to wreck your life. I mean, like it's so dumb because like someone being able to be themselves, like to sit there and be someone who says that because they can be themselves that wrecks my life. No, like who cares? Like they don't, like these people most times you'll probably never even meet them or see them. Like what does it matter? Like what their sexual preference is to you. Like it doesn't affect your life. Like just get over it.
I think that's why when I was talking to Corey, just planning some stuff, and I told him because I'm about to get ready to prepare for the Pride panel this year, and I was telling Corey, I was just like, there's a lot that we're going to talk about. And I know we're going to try to keep it fun and light and gaming and everything. But I'm like, I think this is going to be a really deep conversation because the stuff that's going on in the world is affecting a lot of us in the community. So to hear different voices, and I'm going, like I said, I'm going to be trying to reach out to different people so we can have these discussions, because a lot of stuff is changing, and it's changing. Yeah. And the thing about it is, it's changing for the worse, and it's not benefiting anybody. And I know I'm gonna get to what's jumping off in my world, and getting to point it out with your trend setting. But I was on YouTube today, and I clicked on the story that says ex-husband is charging his ex-wife and her friends about an abortion. Don't know if she had it or not in Texas. She's trying to sue her and charge them, all three of them, with murder because of the abortion pill and everything. Yeah. And it's kind of just like, I'm like, I think we don't know how the man was towards her or anything. I just seen the story, but somehow he was able to get her text, and I guess the text became public and everything. And it's kind of like you're doing this mostly out of spite and everything. Yeah. And I don't know if when they had the baby they were married or what, but I'm like, hopefully I could follow the story. But that's kind of scary that just the way that people are looking at abortion and just the abortion pill and stuff. Yeah, it's really just it's really a weird and odd time.
Well, so like honestly, a lot of these things can be summed up to one major problem. It isn't necessarily the exact like the topic in question that's ever the problem nowadays. It's we live in a world where politicians and religious figures and like just people in general want to be able to solve every single problem with the idea that there's a black and white solution for everything. And we do not, and we never will live in a world where anything can be decided in a black and white situation. There is no right and wrong answer for every single problem.
Especially when you're not educated about things. And I think that's what's going on with a lot of stuff, is that there are people who are not educated about things. They just make an assumption and exaggerate that assumption and use that as their personal fact to ban or pass some law or do some crazy mess. And it's just odd that we have gotten to that point in everything.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it is. Well, just one last thing. Yeah, I think it's just, like you said, there's a lot of ignorance, and like when it comes, without going super, long about it, but like when it comes to something like getting an abortion, there is so many possibilities where the mother can lose their life to a child that's already dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter whether they go along with having the baby or not. The baby is already dead, and now the idea of taking the baby out is illegal, but it's going to kill the mother, and now you've sentenced both of them to death because you want to think that there's a black and white answer to everything, and no, there should be there should be choices that are being able to be made, and and that's just it. Choices, that nothing is black and white.
Exactly. Well, what's been jumping on my side of things, like in the gaming world, I pre-ordered my copy of Resident Evil 4, so remake. Nice. So I'm excited for that for my Series X. I finally started up Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe on Switch. Enjoying that. Not too hard of a game. Been playing Fight and Rage, just like this old arcade looking beat 'em up game on Switch, and it's really fun. It's really nice. I started up Have a Nice Death. This is the roguelike action game where you play as Death and you're trying to bring order to your company so you could go on vacation. And it's really good. There's some elevator music in it, and I was listening to it and I was just like, oh my goodness, this elevator music is so good. Like, it has this nice jazz funk, but yet it's related. I'm just like, okay, this is an action-packed game, and yet Death got like some jazz funk going on. And it's so cool. There is one thing, I know when you about to start the level, or sometimes you're going through the elevator, the frame rate does kind of drop, but then it picks up and then it's smooth again. So that might be something that they patch on the Switch version. Pretty much. And still playing Octopath Traveler 2, finishing up some of the stories for some characters. I played one. I'm on chapter 4 of my one character named Timonos, and he's this inquisitor from the church. And he's been searching around, trying to find out who murdered this priest and everything, and you kind of get an answer and everything. And at the end of each chapter, you fight like a big boss. And I am at the chapter 4 boss, which I'm fighting the person who actually did the murder. So you do get a reveal. And I am overpowered. I mean, and everything. And I probably gotta go still get some things and everything. And there was a point that I was halfway through the battle. And I was trying to break this character, but they kept, this boss kept taking up so much energy. Why in the world did they not allow me to attack? And they allowed the boss to straight up kill me, just murked everybody. And I'm like, are you serious? And I'm thinking, okay, this is an automatic battle that might lead us to chapter 5. No, that mug said game over.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
I'm just like, what is this nonsense? So now I gotta try to figure out how the heck am I going to go about this battle and try to beat this enemy, because there is a move that I need, but with Octopath Traveler, you gotta kind of build up to what you need to do some special moves or do multiple attacks, but you also gotta have the right weapons so that you could break the enemy and everything. And at points of this fight, you could break this person's enemy, get this person to a certain point in their energy, but then it raises itself up. So instead of, let's say you supposed to do like 7 breakpoints, they'll raise it up to 15. So now you got to try to do 15. You got to try to break all 15. So you could get that enemy dazed and attack them. And she just straight murked us all. So I cut it off after that. So I'm just like, I'm going to give it time. I think I need to go find some place where I can have some better equipment, and then I'll go and fight this character again and stuff. But I'm like, we're up in levels. Like, 2 of my characters were at 50. The character whose story that's supposed to be on is at 50 something, like 53. I'm at 63 with my main character, and it says that I'm supposed to be at least at level 45. Well, I am. So why is it taking this much energy off? This much hit points. I'm like, oh crap. So I will figure that out. I'm not worried about it. What I've been watching though is Rom Half on Hulu. I picked it back up and started watching some of the episodes, and I was watching when Rama and Akane was in a skating tournament, ice skating tournament. And it's this trial that these 2 people do. One of the girls, if she sees something cute, she'll claim it as her own. And so there's this move that they would pick up your opponent and the lover and spin them around. And if you let them go, it lets you know their love is doomed. But if you stay with them, if you stay together, then your love will continue. It really shows you that you love the person. So Rama and Akane are getting spun around, and then they end up letting go. And Rama flips Akane and saves her. He hits a brick wall, and she hits him. But there's another character named Ryoga who takes the place of Akane, because Rama, he turned into his girl form. So while it's Ryoga who turns into a pig who's bad at direction and really can't swim at all or skate, they call a fashion crew to come in and change them up. So they do the trick again, and this time Ryoga lets Rama go. So they was just like their love was to do. But Ryoga and Rama, they never had a relationship or anything. They're kind of like they're enemies, but they're frenemies in a sense. So I was watching that and just laughing. And so the girl, she, she sees something cute, and the guy is telling her, once you leave this alone, she gets upset, pulls out a big mallet, hits him on the head, which also cracks the ice that they were skating under. And so pulls out, he's on the sheet, and she's just like, oh, the sheet is so cute. So she takes the sheet and she's just like, I need that. And then she hits him on the head again with a mallet. So they lose. It just gets wacky from there. And I was just, it's a 2-part episode. But it's so good. I've seen it many a times. It's in the manga and everything. I've seen it many times, but it's just like it brought me back in watching the Rama series. And that series is so good. I don't like the way how it ended, like the series ended. But Rama Half, I remember watching that back in the early 80s, before it came over here in America. So I'm able to watch like the whole series, like I think 8 or 9 seasons of Rama that's on Hulu. So I get to watch it all. It's just literally enjoy it. There is a point where they stop doing the dub version and just keep it subtitled. So they'll keep it subtitled, and you could just watch it where it's all in Japanese and they just subtitle it and everything. And like I said, the series gets way wacky after that. So that's what's been jumping everybody. We're going to get to point it out. And Jesse doesn't know this, but the trend that I'm bringing up is TikTok. As you can see, TikTok, the chief executive was at Congress and or had a meeting, and they was grading him over privacy, China ties, and teens. I'm just going to read a little bit of this because a lot of people are really mad at what they saw. So, TikTok chief executive Xiaozi Chu faced a bipartisan baptism of fiery inquiry Thursday at a hearing of the House of Energy and Commerce Committee, held as the platform comes under increased scrutiny from lawmakers in the Biden administration. The questions cover topics ranging from content removal bias against Black creators and election misinformation to the platform impact on the mental health of young people who make up the majority of TikTok users. While many of these issues are not unique to TikTok, the Chinese ownership of its parent company, Beijing-based ByteDance, and its ties to the Chinese government make it unique among the major social media platforms popular with Americans. The 5-hour adversarial hearing saw a rare instance of bipartisan cooperation as both Democrats and Republicans raised national security concerns over the possibility of Chinese government officials gaining access to U.S. user data. Lawmakers made references to a 2017 Chinese law that requires companies there to assist state intelligence gathering. To the American people watching today, hear this. TikTok is a weapon by the Chinese Communist Party to spy on you, manipulate what you see, and exploit it for future generations, Chairwoman Kathy McMorris Rogers, a Republican from Washington State, said in her opening statement. Her sentiments were supported by the 52-member committee's leading Democrat, Frank Pallone Jr. of New Jersey. While TikTok videos provide a new fun way for people to express their creativity and enjoy the videos of others, the platform also threatens the health, privacy, and security of the American people, he said. And I'm not convinced that the benefits outweigh the risk that it poses to Americans in its present form. In response, Chu, who is Singaporean, gave a robust defense of his company and sought to distance them from the Chinese government. Let me state this unequivocally, he said. ByteDance is not owned or controlled by the Chinese government. It is a private company, Chu said in his opening statement. He added that concerns about addiction and data privacy were were an industry-wide problem. We believe what is needed are clear, transparent rules that apply broadly to all tech companies. Ownership is not at the core of addressing these concerns. Chu also outlined Project Texas, the company's proposal to use Austin-based cloud computing company Oracle to vet its code and ensure the U.S. user data are stored in the country and firewalled from access by foreign governments. This eliminates the concern that some of you have shared with me that TikTok user data can be subject to Chinese law, Chu told the committee. But there remains skepticism about the practicalities of that proposal and if it goes far enough. Project Texas just doesn't pass the small test. My constituents are concerned that TikTok and the Chinese Communist Party are controlling their data and seeing our own vulnerabilities, Representative Angie Craig, Democrat from Minnesota, said. The hearing came after it was reported that the Biden administration plans to force ByteDance to sell its stake in TikTok or face a ban in the United States. Ahead of the hearing, the Wall Street Journal reported that the Chinese government plans to resist the forced sale. If the news is true, China will resolutely oppose it, Xu Zhuting, a spokeswoman at China's Ministry of Commerce, said. She added that the sale would seriously damage investors from multiple countries, including China, and hurt confidence to invest in the United States. Ahead of the hearing, a slew of TikTok creators roamed the halls of Congress as part of a public relation effort to urge lawmakers in the Biden administration not to ban the platform, which has 150 million users in the U.S. monthly. So, and there's more that people could read. And it was just, I looked this up on Twitter, because a lot of people don't know that, with TikTok and everything, it's a lot of shorts, a lot of dancing, a lot of singing, and some of the people who feel like that TikTok is hurting people and killing them, it was just like, well, guns are doing that, but you guys won't have a hearing on guns and stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that even some politicians use TikTok to get whatever agenda or announcement or whatever. Like, they use that social platform. Chu, he said something which was very interesting. During one of the questions that was asked to him, he responded, if you guys are worried about security data and breaching of it, then you will find it no more in America than anywhere else. What did you guys do when Facebook and the Cambridge news story came out? And so he was kind of getting on them, showing them that you guys breach your own user data. You allowed that to happen. So why are you worried that this is, I'm like, not worried, but why do you assume that this would happen with TikTok because we're in China and everything? So it's kind of amazing because when you look at TikTok, you see different kinds of creators, white, Asian, Black, Hispanic, like you see different people around the country who have access to TikTok to use it to express their creativity. For some people as content creators, they use it as marketing, or they use it, as a way to like show some cool movies, do some cool trends, and it's just amazing that they want to block it or they want to ban it because they think that Americans who use it, that their user data is going to get out, and China would use it, and he's just like, no, we're not going to use it. We don't do all of that, So so like, what are your thoughts about it, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is no matter what we do nowadays, like user data and all that stuff is being tracked by like so many different things. Even now with like your televisions and stuff being connected to the, to the internet and stuff like that. I'm sure there's some kind of data being, tracked there, like right on your TV, like your smart TVs, or your, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing nowadays. Like everything is being tracked, like in some form. And, like, I know that we should raise concerns about things, and like, we should be making sure that these companies that are making these products and stuff are like making sure that they're actually adhering to the rules and things that are set in place. But like ultimately, I mean, at this point, it's just like, it's so, like, it feels like no matter what you're doing, there's always someone or something tracking something, and it's almost feels impossible to get away from at this point.
And knowing with January 6th last year, the people who was the insurrectionists who were at the Capitol were using TikTok. They were putting videos on TikTok showing that they were literally at the Capitol and what they were doing. So, and they were using the platform to find the people who were doing this crime, who was doing this. Yeah. So if it shouldn't be banned, because I don't know. If they took the user's data, what are they gonna use it for? That's a lot of data and everything.
Yeah.
Well,
like, I think the thing is like, I think one of the things, like, I don't know if you've ever noticed when you download certain apps or something to your phone, a lot of the times it will ask for access to certain things. Like, it's going to need access to your microphone and your camera on your phone, because if you want to make a video using your phone through the app, then it has to have access to that stuff. I think
it can't force itself on there.
Yeah, I think one of the things that can somewhat be dangerous, if that data is released, like if you're allowing access to your GPS, which can be tracked, if you know what you're doing, that can be tracked, and then therefore they can figure out exactly where you are, if someone wanted to do something or harm you. Like that's the only thing that I can think of that would be harmful, like in the, let's say, like, worst case scenario, like, let's say that China somehow was able to get that information of, let's say, a politician who is using TikTok, and TikTok was able to use GPS tracking, and China was able to now locate exactly where this politician is. If they let's say they recorded a video at their house where they live, now they know exactly where this politician lives, and if they wanted to use
But this is the problem with it. Facebook and other apps do the same thing, and those politicians are probably doing GPS. So it wouldn't matter if TikTok. I guess Chu was just like, it should be a universal broad thing. If I'm going to get banned, then all the other apps who do the same thing should be banned. Yeah. If y'all worry about security breach, you in America had the biggest one with Facebook and Cambridge. So you should have went off of them. Oh, go ahead.
I think the difference is I don't know for sure, but like, is all the information, the data that's being stored, is that being stored somewhere in China where they'd have access to it without having to, like the information for Facebook and stuff, I believe, is wherever all that information is stored like somewhere in
Well,
in
the thing about it
America.
is, so yeah, it was stored in America, but the information was stored at Cambridge, and so Cambridge was using the data that was stored from Facebook.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why when everything and Facebook would, the data that came out of that was that people thought that their data was safe at Facebook. They didn't know that Facebook sold their data or gave their data to Cambridge University and everything. So with TikTok, I believe if there is any data that's there, it's normally it's probably saved at ByteDance or wherever or something like that. It's probably stored somewhere else. And they said if you want TikTok to be more not user friendly but more secure with American user data, we would give it to the place in Texas, or the Oracle place in Texas, and let them hold all the American data. If you want to do that, we could do it. And so it's kind of it's I won't say it's a two-way street or something, or it's irony, but it's kind of weird to see that they're trying to ban TikTok, but not ban. They should have banned Facebook, but I think Facebook got fined, and Cambridge got fined. I think they only got fined, and they did that sneakily in here in America. And so just like I think with TikTok, it's just like it's a social media app that shows everybody's creativity. If TikTok was gone, what's going to happen? Facebook is going to be trying to do the same thing that TikTok does, and because what a lot of people are saying is that Meta lobbied this. The idea is that they're trying to get TikTok banned so they could be the face of this stuff and everything. So it's kind of, to us, we see it as a jealousy kind of thing. But like 150 million people who use TikTok, and some people are not creators; they just watch it and everything. So there's been more greater good with TikTok than it has bad. I really haven't heard of any deaths or anything, and if it is, it's very minimal. And stuff. It's just like you have a lot of people who are great creators who do some fantastic stuff, who use it to promote themselves and promote their work, and then you have some people who use it for negative reasons, harmful reasons and stuff. But that's up to the user. TikTok doesn't have anything to do with that. They could see the stuff and try to like ban accounts or shut it down or clean it up. But I'm like, out of 150 million, that's a lot of work to do. And that TikTok videos are only about a minute or two, or not even 2 minutes or something. Probably about just a minute, and it takes a lot of people a lot of work just to make a short video like that. Definitely when they gotta edit and stuff.
I used to not I just didn't care about TikTok. Like it was like I had went on it and I was just like, okay, well this isn't for me. But I've actually started using it more since my divorce, because there's just a lot of people on there who do talk about and promote mental health, better mental health and men's mental health, and there's a lot of women on there who promote better men's mental health and kind of call a lot of the times call out this is why men do this. It's because these are usually women who are who do for a job, for a living, they talk, do was it they're therapists and stuff like that. and so they'll point out a lot of the things, you know, because they have so much data, you know, like not data, but they have so much interactions with people who have gone through divorces, and that they can say that, you know, like, well, a lot of times when I'm talking to people, I'm running into this and I'm running into that problem, and you know, and they can kind of talk about things, and you know, and one of the things is, you know, things just times are changing in general, but you know, there's just a lot of videos that I watch that talk about like mental health and
and and
men's mental health, and like, you know, just the way that things have changed, of how women think sometimes, and how in a relationship, and how a lot of times men are expected to be this unfazed, like just rock in a relationship, and that they don't have feelings, and you know, and all that kind of stuff that people can start to think. But you know, but they it's like, no, you know, men just like women have feelings, and there are things that, you know, like you need to talk about, and you know, just certain, just kind of like inspirational videos too that I watch and stuff like that. Just, you know,
and
it's
I,
helped. It's helped.
I, I think, yeah, I think the ban is going to harm a lot of companies, and it's going to harm a lot of people. I know people are joking that TikTokers got to go out and get a real job. Who said they didn't have one and everything?
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens in the end. I know, like I said, there was people protesting and stuff. And it's just going to be, we'll see what happens, because I literally think there's going to be a big regret if this TikTok gets banned in America. I think there's going to be a really big regret, because the thing about it is that if there are youth or people who are at an age to vote, and some of these people who were in a position, you know, that voted on this, people are going to get educated and find out. And because you took something that was well loved, that didn't really do anything, that's a potential of that being used against you to be voted out and used to vote for your opponent, you know. And so we'll see how all of this plays out. But that is going to be our pointing out trend. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Jesse for our Boss Rush Banter topic.
All right. Yeah. So, and you know, we're not gonna go into the article a whole lot or anything. So I just kind of, the idea is one of us will pick one of the Boss Rush Banter articles on our website that we'll kind of use as a talking topic for the show, and then yeah, if you want to read the article, and I will let you know like who wrote the article. But if you want to read their article to learn, you know, about their kind of point of view of the topic, then you just head over to our bossrush.net and look for the Boss Rush Banter piece. So, all right, yeah, I picked one of the Boss Rush Banters that I wanted to talk about today is by Josh Martinez. And it's his banter question thing that he talks about is, which movie made you fall in love with cinematic experience? So he kind of, you know, without saying a whole lot about it, but he, in his piece, he kind of talks about, you know, going to the theaters and kind of, you know, like talks about that whole experience, and what, you know, what movies you know, he went to the theater and experienced that really made him fall in love with kind of that that medium, I guess you could say, for entertainment. So, but yeah, so which movie made you fall in love with the cinematic experience? And then if you want to add, you can go ahead.
So with me, I know my mom, she took me to Star Wars. I've seen all of that. but definitely for me, it was Transformers, the animated movie.
Okay.
I remember being taken to that and going to see that movie, and for the first time hearing the word "damn" come for an animated character, because I was a big Transformers cartoon, fan, and going there to see Optimus Prime and everything, I just ended up loving that. But also along with that, my dad, he would take me to some of the cheap movies, like the $2 movies, or I should say the dollar movies, and that's how I got to see Breaking 2. That's how I got to see. Now I'm going to get you sucker. I've seen that at like the expensive movies, but I got to see The Last Dragon that way, and so I got to experience movies from my parents at different theaters. But I remember when I seen Transformers, I just fell in love with watching this experience, because the thing, like when I went to the movies as a kid, I understand the popcorn and the drink and, the concession stand and stuff, but that never wowed me or anything. Even looking at the arcade games, like that didn't wow me, because like across from our movie theater, it was going to the mall. If I wanted to go to the arcade, I had the Last Castle and everything. But it was just like going to the movies that that my parents wanted to see, and B, for some of the kids stuff, the stuff I was kind of a fan of. So like I said, I like the Transformers movie was just so amazing to watch, because who knew that they made a movie like this that was only going to be in theater? Like, and still to this very day, when I bought my first DVD player, Transformers the movie was the first DVD that I brought. Excuse me about that. So I would have to go with Transformers with that.
Okay. Well, I have one like kind of added question. Is there a movie more recently that's wowed you that you've seen in the theater? Like something that's wowed you more recently?
One that wowed me. Oh my goodness. So I didn't care for Avengers Endgame. I thought that was boring. I know I'll get some decisive words for that, but I just did not like that movie when it came out. I really cannot think of anything. Because like some of them, because at a point, I just, not saying that I stopped going to the movies, but life got in the way and I got busy. And so when movies came out, I would just end up buying it on Blu-ray and everything.
Yeah.
So at this time, I can't think of it.
No.
Or anything.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think for me, like honestly, I didn't know how I was gonna feel about the second Avatar movie, but that movie really was like, I think I actually like it better than the first one. Like I think they did such an amazing job with like everything in that movie. That's for me, that's like one of the more recent ones that's really wowed me. Like I was genuinely like impressed with it.
Well, I know that I do want to go see John Wick 4. When it comes out. And there's some other ones that I want to see. But like a lot of the movies, I think for me, when it comes to seeing movies, I love something to be fresh or be very creative. Like I want to see Knock at the Cabin, but it's probably on. I know it's on. If you want to rent it digitally, you can. But like, I want to buy that movie and sit down and watch it, and everything. A movie that people may find that I enjoy was the Monster Hunter movie. I love that movie.
I still haven't seen it yet. I need to watch it.
It's campy fun, but it's quite good. It's not a bad movie, in my opinion and stuff. I know I see Everything Everywhere All at Once, but like I brought that and stuff. Probably by the time you guys see this, I'm going to be going to the movies because the Studio Ghibli Fan Fest has started. And
Oh, yeah.
so the first movie they're showing is My Neighbor Totoro. I never got to see My Neighbor Totoro in a movie theater, but I'm going for the first showing, and they're doing it in Japanese with the subtitles.
Okay,
so they're
nice.
doing it in the original way and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to look into that and see if they have that playing around by me somewhere. But yeah, like as far though as like the movies go that like really got me, like that really made me excited, like for seeing movies and like, you know, going to the theaters, like I think it has to be Jurassic Park for me. Like
Jurassic
there
Park was
was,
a big one.
yeah, like there was just nothing like at that time, just
Mm-hmm.
the sound, you know, the like having the theater sound and you having the, you know, like the just the rumbling of the roar, you know, like because when the dinosaurs roar, there's so much bass in there too, into that roar that it like shakes the whole room, like you know, because of the sound, how well the sound is done, you know, for the movie. And I think that like that movie, you could literally just be in the theater with your eyes closed and not watch a thing of the movie, and still like it would just, the sound of the movie would be impactful enough. Like I don't know if you've ever done that, like where you've like you watch something and you just like without actually seeing the visuals, you know, like when you listen to podcasts or things like that, where you just like you can, like audiobooks is a perfect example where you're having to use your own imagination to imagine what the visuals would be of what they're talking about, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so like I think that would be a movie that like you could listen to and would still be a phenomenal like bit of entertainment, you know. Like I just, there was everything about that movie was just so perfect and, you know, so well done.
I know one for me was Action Jackson.
Okay.
Action Jackson. I have to say that
Yeah.
kind of clearly. And it was kind of my first movie of seeing a black protagonist kicking tail.
Okay.
I mean, there were like the Eddie Murphy stuff, like Beverly Hill Cops and stuff, and Beverly Hill Cops too. But something about watching the Action Jackson just kick tail was so good. And yes, I did mention you know, The Last Dragon also having a black actor. But there was something about The Last Dragon as campy as it was, how 80s it was with the music, you know, and everything. But I was kind of watching that in a fun way. And then you in the movie theater watching people in the movie theater uh watching Bruce Lee fight. But yet, like people are throwing food and then having a dance contest, and it's just like, this is so weird. You know, it's like I said, but at that time I didn't know about camp. It was just like, this is a fun thing, and I'm enjoying as a kid. And then as I continue to see more movies like horror, sci-fi, musicals like The Color Purple and stuff, I started getting a better understanding about movies. And then when I got into anime, I started watching a lot of the anime movies, but they were just like something on DVD or Blu-ray, to like with TV series and everything. And I think that's when I started looking out for to more craziness, like stuff that had a twist, but then things that was very visual, things with camera angles, and things that have just shot so differently. My thought of the movie cinema experience was changing, because it at one point it became more about which movie theater I wanted to go. compared to where I to what the movie is about. Because at a time I was going to in my area, Illinois, we're close to Gurnee, but someone introduced me to Tinseltown in Kenosha, and so I started going there. Cheaper tickets. It's a drive, but that's fine. I love driving out there. Cheaper tickets. The food was like a little bit cheaper, and it's just like the experience was more relaxing. Now, I'm not saying that it was better or anything, but it was more relaxing because I think the movies that I were going to see, a lot of people weren't going to see, and so I was just like, I could go because The Witch that came out. Love that movie. Love The Witch. And we went to me and my friends, we went to Tinseltown and we sat there. We got this great experience and stuff. And we left Tinseltown and was driving home, driving to my friend's house because we were going to podcast about it before I drove home. And we literally had a great discussion. And it was hard to save it for the podcast and everything because it was just like that experience of going to watch it with friends was amazing. And I think I know there are some places that I may have to drive out 40 to an hour out because they have like a special showing of this movie. There was an animated movie that they were showing on a Friday, and I had to go because that was the only available time that I was able to go. Now, they ended up messing up, and they offered me a refund, but I said no. I'm here. I can still watch it. What ended up happening is that I was going to go see this anime movie, and it was brand new, and it's a phenomenal movie. I ended up buying the music soundtrack on that's how good it was. The movie was supposed to have the English dub because that's what they promoted, but they messed up. And it's just like, it's actually the subtitle one in Japanese. I was just like, I'm fine. I could still watch the movie, listen to Japanese and read it. I'm like, no, I'm here. It was a drive. I was able to make it. I'm excited to see the movie. I paid for my ticket and I went in, and what was good about it is that a lot of people came. A lot of people bought their ticket, sat down and watched it, and we all got to experience this movie for the first time in this native language. And I love that. I think that's what I love about the movie experience, when I get to see something with a whole bunch of people. Now, it is weird, I will say, go and see Sonic the Hedgehog 2 when you have all of these kids and you're the only adult that's there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a weird situation, but also a kind of a good one. It's nice seeing, something like Sonic still becoming popular to a new generation and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's, like early on when I first went to the theaters, most of the stuff that I watched, as a kid was, just, I mean, it was good. It was still an amazing experience, but it wasn't, it wasn't like that, the sound and everything making such a big difference, for Jurassic Park. But I remember as a kid going and seeing the Care Bears movie.
Yes,
because that one, because they eventually they had it as a book too that I had owned as a kid. But I went and seen that. I think it was the first Care Bears movie they ever made at that point. But yeah, and then I did see Congo. I remember seeing Congo in theaters too, and that was very similar to the Jurassic Park thing, but it was almost like Jurassic Park meets like Predator. I loved that. I love Congo. That movie was so good. Do you remember that one with the chimpanzee that had the special box thing so it could talk?
Yes.
It knew sign language and stuff like that. Still to this day, one of the best scenes ever, like one of my favorite is when they're sitting, a guy is like sitting outside of this area, and another guy walks into like a cave or something like that, and the dude's that's sitting outside, he's like, all of a sudden something hits him, he's like, oh, now you're throwing things at me, huh? And it ends up being the dude's eyeball, because whatever killed him and threw the eye at him, his eye at him. Yeah, that movie was really good too. I that was a fun one to see in the theater, and like Terminator 2, I believe I think Terminator 2 technically,
yeah, that was a good one to watch in the theater.
Yeah, I think that was technically the first movie. I think that was the first movie that I seen in the theater. Can't remember. No, that's right, because that would have came out. I think that came out in 91, and I would have only been like 7 or 8, something like that. So then, yeah. So Jurassic Park was the first movie that I seen in the first legit like big theatrical movie that I seen in the theater, because I would have been like 10 when that came out.
So I will say there are some movies that just not infuriate me, but like just made me yell in a sarcastic way. It Follows is a terrible movie.
Okay.
I was so mad about when I left and watched. I know people love It Follows. It was a terrible movie for me.
I like movies that, like, I was just thinking like another movie that kind of like changed things up a little bit, like, because we're getting to the point now of where everything's kind of been done. And like we'll have these little like things that come along that can enhance movies.
Yes.
To try to make it different, like 3D is the new thing, and that's gotten better to the point of where you can wear things that are just basically feel like you're wearing regular glasses, and then it just makes it 3D. Like that technology has gotten like perfect, I think, for adapting to the big screen. But like I really enjoyed well, like I said, the Avatar movie, like that did the 3D stuff. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm trying to think. Oh, I did like the Blair Witch, like when that came out, like that was that whole found footage kind of thing. Like I enjoyed it. Like it made it feel, it was a different experience, for a movie, making it feel like it was like just some footage recorded by some just people that weren't actually making a movie, just recording what they were doing. Like every once in a while something comes along like that kind of changes it up a little bit. But
I know for me, I think I probably would have been upset. Like, so we had a big discussion about Spider-Man, the animated one that came out. And
okay.
The problem that I had with that Spider-Man one was that I thought the main character was so whiny. I understand he's trying to, learn his powers and everything, but it was on the level of Neon Genesis Evangelion, because that makes me upset too. I think I hate when characters whine. They'll get a power or they got something, they just whine and never try anything. Like, I can understand that you're trying to learn stuff, and I understand you're trying to fight an enemy and everything, but I get upset when you don't try anything.
Yeah. Well, I think though with the Spider-Man thing, I think it's almost like, in a way, you should almost kind of be annoyed by because, like, the thing is like, looking back, part of being a teen, Part of being a teenager is thinking that everything is so much more of a big deal than it actually is. And like everything is like the end of the world to you, and everything is just always, like that. I feel like being part of being a teenager is literally whining about everything. Because everything feels like you're doomed, like when you're a teenager, like everything is the worst.
I think the whining part came off as that you're running away, because I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I think the books are boring. I think the movies are terrible because of the fact, in the fact that, and people know this already. I think they're terrible in the fact because when the books feel boring, the way that they're written, in the movies, these kids are running. It's the fifth movie. You're at a school of magic and you're still running from danger. I'm like, do something. And I think that's the point that it gets to me, where I'd be like, okay, this is pretty much dumb. And I think when I get to that level of movies where I feel like it's annoying or I want to yell in a negative manner, even though I know that it's written in this, I can't change nothing. Yelling at a movie doesn't change anything. Like, they can't hear you. Everything is already filmed. It's fictional work. I just hate that when the presentation is shown, that makes me upset. I end up disliking the movie even more. And I'm just like, the only reason why I'm here to watch the rest of it, because I, A, paid for it, B, I'm still got my food, and C, I know I got to talk about it and write about it with other people. If sometimes when that happens. But I'm like, I know that if I'm really dissatisfied with it, people will know that I'm dissatisfied with it when it comes to movies. And I just, and people who love those movies that I dislike, I always give them love. I always give them respect. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You like it? Great. But sometimes I feel like something could have been done better, or they could have decided it went in and do something better. But if you're like doing a series of movies and it's about and you're using the same characters and it's this magical realism and stuff, there's got to be at a point in time that you actually do something, that you actually change, like you actually allow these characters, they grown up, they grew, their characters are developed, but they cannot be running away like it's a Scooby-Doo mystery. Like, and I know running is a big thing in horror movies, but I know if I'm going to get taken out in the movie and it's written that way, I want my character to fight. You want me? You better fight for my life if you want it. I'm not about to do 20-some blocks in. Somehow you magically... No, we about to swing. I'm about to treat this mugger like a WWE match. I'm about to start throwing stuff. I'm going to find something to use as a weapon and do my best to fight. and we gonna go at it. Because if I'm going down with a fight.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well,
yeah, Jesse, anything else?
No, I was just gonna say I think that was a pretty good talk about cinema and some of the things we've experienced over the years, and that kind of got us excited for it.
Yes. Well, everybody, with that's going to be our debut episode of Jump Off Point. I have been your host, Eddie V. My co-host, Jesse Douglas, has joined me. If you guys want to check out more of our content, you can go to bossrush.net. Check out our YouTube page, Boss Rush Media. Yeah, or if you want to help us produce the show, you can come a Patreon for Boss Rush Media. You go to our website and join us there to become a Patreon. If you have thoughts, if you want to respond to us about the stories that we talked about, the trend, how you feel about movies, you can let us know on our Discord for Boss Rush Media. But then, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Jump Off Point. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
This episode of Jump Off Point is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the Boss Rush family of podcasts, head to bossrush.net or our Patreon at patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for helping us build something better.